All right. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Coach Moe's Coach's Corner. This is the Coach Moe podcast. I am your host, Bryan, and I have Coach Moe on the line. Today, we're going to, on the first episode, we kind of want to do a quick intro of Coach Moe and who he is, and a quick interview about that. And then I want to jump into discussing what the difference is between your more elite college-bound young athletes versus a person that a recreational athlete. And we're going to talk about the differences Coach Moe sees with the different types of trainees, and we'll get into a couple of other topics here. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll get to you guys after the intro. Peace. Welcome back, y'all. So I have Coach Moe on the line.
All right.
And so I think we're going to start out, before we get into our topic, want to give you some updates about some news and some new happenings with Coach Moe Athletics and what we got coming up for basketball season. And so we'll have that quick conversation, and then we're going to get into the meat of our topic. So, hey, Coach Moe.
Hey, what's up?
Going on? So I know that you've got a couple of young athletes that you've been working with. Anybody that you want to shout out, take this time to shout out on the program?
There's actually four particular athletes, and they're at the middle school level. We got plenty of high school guys that are slated college scholarship guys, but they have to start somewhere, and we usually start seeing the change with those kids about middle school. So one shout out, we got Chris Brown, who attends Lewis and Clark Middle School over in Bellevue. We have Jay, we have Kelvin, and we have Ami. These kids work super hard during this pandemic. We're in the Omaha area, so as you know, schools pretty much, in Nebraska area period, schools pretty much stopped in March, and these boys didn't stop. And so what we were able to do was enroll these boys pretty much into our total athlete training, where we're doing speed agility work. We introduced them to kettlebells. We introduced them to a little weight training. We continue to play some basketball. We traded those, and not only do these kids get faster, stronger, and better, they formed a bond. And now the buzz about these kids coming in is they're going to have to pick what high school they're going to, because they work through this all, and they can still continue to do this. So big shout out to those kids that kept rolling through the pandemic and continues to keep working.
Good. I know that we've had on our Facebook page, if you guys want to swing by the Facebook page, which is Coach Moe Athletics, look it up on Facebook. We've had a couple of athletes that are college bound that we did some quick posts about. So go to the Facebook page and kind of see. Basically, you're seeing what Coach Moe has been able to do with some of these young men and young ladies or whatnot. So. And that's the biggest piece. That's why we do this, is getting these kids ready so that they can perform at their best. If I'm not mistaken, at their best, we want to see these kids performing at the top level. And the thing that we have in common with our best athletes is they want to perform at their top level too. And because they want it, it's a lot easier. We don't have to do a ton of motivation or pulling teeth. The kids that want it, and they're seeking out workouts and things along those lines. Am I right, Coach Moe?
Oh yeah, and that's the biggest thing as we try to work with these kids. These kids want to be there, and I think one thing is. At some point, when the kids want to be there, you find it fun for them. They find something they niche onto. They just work harder. As our atmosphere, I think, Bryan, you can speak to this too, is the family atmosphere. The feedback that come from different programs or different training things they went to. It's like they went to places and they didn't feel like they were connected. It felt like parents dropped them off and they're the only kid they knew there, and we never wanted kids just to feel like they're just a number. And so when kids come to us, and just during this time and any time, they're part of what we're trying to do, and they all have the same goal of getting better. And we work through it, and we look at the individual kid that comes through, because not every kid is going to be good at certain things, and we try to work on those areas. But a lot of kids say they've been in programs that, unfortunately, they want them all to progress at the same time, and as you know, it doesn't happen that way.
Right, right. And a lot of it is, one of the things is combining, because we're both parents. You're the parent of a kid that is on that kind of elite athlete track, and fortunately, he hasn't had to have a ton of, it's internal for him. But we do approach it. We really do approach it with a family-centered theme. And speaking of family-centered, you're going to hear my little people in the background because they're home, just like a lot of other kids in the city. And so you might hear them milling about in the background. The pandemic's forced us all to kind of adjust. So just be aware of that, y'all. So, Coach Moe, what challenges are you seeing with these young athletes in regards to, what this pandemic has kind of brought down on them locally?
Oh man, where do you start? One thing is availability for. What I'm saying is, there's not a lot of availability for kids to get in and get anywhere. Period. What we're running into is you're seeing kids that are used to being able to go play pickup ball at a community center or their local apartment complex, and these things are closed. And so what happens is the norm that these kids are used to is kind of went out the window. And so our thing that we've had to do is kind of motivating the kids to think outside the box. Like the old school way, you know what I'm saying, Ryan? Like how we did, get to the park. You know what I'm saying? Keep a basketball in your bag, run some hills, find what works. And so it's basically getting these kids to really think outside the box, that they don't exactly need each time to get themselves better. And that's been a kind of a challenge for some of them because they're used to everything running pretty smooth. Also the challenge of scheduling. A lot of the kids played summer basketball. A lot of the tournaments were kind of cut out because of everything was going on. And some kids worked through it. Some kids found summer teams, worked through it. Some kids stayed, did individual stuff. We had a lot of kids that stayed with us. We found ways to keep playing, found a couple tournaments here and there. But there are the challenges where the kids that, again, are used to the norm that couldn't figure that out. And it's tough. And it's tough for those kids. Also, you're looking at the competitive edge of some of these kids coming in. Like typically, ninth grade is one of the most important years for these kids, and a lot of kids didn't have their summer workouts or they were cut for schools because everything's going on. So you had this gap that was coming in here, and there are school districts that are playing, but were those kids prepared? I know if they were with us, they were, but we also have the ones that just, decided I'm going to check out, and that's just for a lot of kids. And so a lot of challenges there, but, it's kind of what the parents and the kids really wanted, and if they really wanted to work, through it, they did. And we were able to help, I'm proud that we were able to help a lot of those kids. One thing I'm proud of, bro, like one of the services that we did, we were the first, training group that work with youth to do online classes, and during that, you'll see our reviews and you'll see that, and you see people come through. That really helped a lot of those kids. And what do you say? We had a pretty good number of kids when buildings are closing, parks are closing, that came to us for the online services, and it was their way to not only get through, it was their way to maintain and get better. We even have a review where a kid said he even gained some more height in his vertical from doing the online classes and stuff. And so I think it's one thing it was good, that we're trend setters in that. I've talked to other, trainers and other coaches that were, applauded us for those things, and I think being a trendsetter, trying to, and being a leader on that really helped a lot of our kids. We continue to offer a service like that because there are kids that are struggling right now, and the parents are, should I put them back into competitive sports, or should I just keep them training? And so we give them that option. And I think that's one of the things we did really well at the beginning and during the pandemic. As you see it on our website, and as you've seen us on TV, twice during this time. And I thought that was a pretty awesome thing that we offered, and an awesome thing that the kids were able to take part of.
Okay. So that kind of dovetails into our next point here. We keep kind of mentioning the kids that we have that are really self-motivated. And I think one of the things, and this is going to be the main point that we're going to get into. So I think we do see a difference between the kids that are kind of on a recreational sports track versus we see kids that are on a more competitive and sometimes even traveling team sports track. And so we're going to take a pause for the cause, and then Coach Moe and I are going to jump into that when we get back. Hey guys, it's Bryan from Coach Moe Athletics. I wanted to take a quick time out to kind of give you an update on a couple of programs that we have running that we're really looking to start getting people enrolled in, because we think it's really a tremendous value to the people we're going to serve. First, we're going to have our tryout prep training. Now, we did this last year, and we had a tremendous outcome. Coach Moe mentioned how basically every kid that we had come through for our tryout prep training made their basketball team. It's just speed and agility and some basketball drills and footwork and dribbling and stuff to get your kid ready for tryouts to really crush it. Emphasis is going to be on the speed, agility, and conditioning piece, because we feel like that's a vital component, and then the skill work so that they can be ready to go out and execute in a major way. And so we have that coming up. We're going to start that on September 11th, and we're going to take it through November 7th. And that's going to be about 9 weeks of intensive training. This is where our partnership with Legends Soccer Club comes into play, because that's the facility we're going to be using. Plenty of space for the kids to run around in and really get some good work in. So that's what we got coming up. And on Monday nights, I believe it's from 5 to 7, we have basically it's our open court challenge, and really it's for it's an opportunity for basketball players of all stripes to come together. We have high school, we have junior high, we have adults, we have college players, and it just allows the kids, especially the younger ones, to come out and get run with some experienced basketball players, and allows us to kind of evaluate talent and see who's an appropriate fit for our team. Other coaches will come through and see if there's talent that they want to talk to, and so it's a great opportunity. And so this is our open gym invitational, and really we want people to contact us first so that we can extend the invite, because there is very limited space. This service doesn't really cost anything except a call and contacting us to let us know if you want to come out. And so those are two programs that we have running. As usual, we have our basketball academy program, which runs year round. Right now we're in the mode of trying to get some sponsorships for teams so that we can start in October, starting our league in October. And that's what we have. And then we have our total athlete training, which is for all athletes across the board. And so this is Coach Moe's signature training, and he's had good success with a wide variety of athletes. And so these are just the programming that we have available. Go to our Facebook page. You'll see posts and things about it. You'll see some videos about the stuff that we do. But if you're interested in any of these services, get in contact with us at coachmoathletics@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook at Coach Moe Athletics. Talk to you later. Back to the show. Peace. Welcome back, y'all. Real quick, we do have something coming up that we do want to take a brief moment to announce. Starting, I believe it's September 11th, and we're still doing some of the press stuff for it. So on September 11th, we're going to be offering, and we did this last year and we had some tremendous success. Coach Moe can speak about some of the success that we've had with it, but we're opening up a service that is specifically for kids that are training for fall basketball and getting ready for tryouts. And so it's a service we rolled out last year. We had some good success. We're doing it a little bit longer than we did last year, because last year it was just 8 weeks. This time we're doing 9 weeks. And so really it's going to be really focused on conditioning and speed and agility work, so that our kids that attend can excel in tryouts. And so Coach Moe, tell us about some of the success stories that we had last year with that.
That's one of the most exciting things. So we had athletes that went through this program, and you talk about the individual kids, and I think one thing that's good about us is we've never been a business or just entity that wanted 800 kids and just get the numbers up. We're definitely a results-based business and we want quality. So we came in, we had a small group of kids. These kids had never tried out for middle school. They had never made anything beyond just playing for the Y or anything like that, which there's nothing wrong with that, but this is school. So you're looking at tryouts with, I think my son's school had over 200 kids and they're selecting 10. And so every kid that came through us, the success story, 100% of them made their school team, and they actually played significant minutes and were key parts of each of their teams, and I think that's a huge shout out to their hard work and also what we provided for them there as well, and we're back to do it again because, Bryan, we talk about it all the time, it's competitive, man. At this point, man, it starts being competitive. I've seen it where it's competitive in third grade, so let alone middle school, going into high school and, in sixth grade, going to the middle school, it's going to be competitive. And I'm telling you what, to cut down from 200 and have, and 10 of them and be a part of that 10 is a pretty huge accomplishment, for a kid.
So out of all the kids that we, I guess let's do some numbers here. Out of the kids that we trained, how many of them made a roster out of that, from that prep for tryout training?
Every last one of them. We had 100%.
All right. So that's a training that we're going to be rolling out here. So stay tuned for that. We'll post the link in the show notes if you're interested, but it's our prep for tryout training, and it's something that we are really proud of. We had some good success with it last year, and so we hope to do it again this year. And we hope to do it bigger and better this year. So that's what we have rolling out. Now, to get into the main topic, I'm the business manager, and so I do a lot of the social media stuff and, the video content or whatnot. But Coach Moe and I have kind of split the duties with some of that stuff. And one of the things that we see interacting with kids and parents is we see a lot of kids that are, they're good players, fantastic players, but from an internal standpoint, they, in their minds, are recreational level players. And so when we talk about recreational versus competitive players, we on our end see the difference. And so we wanted to kind of jump into what the mindset difference is and what are some of the things that competitive level players are doing that recreational players aren't. And so that's really what the topic of today's program is. So Coach Moe, generally, what are you seeing as some differences between your recreational player versus your competitive player? And we'll keep it general, and then we'll start drilling down to specific examples.
Oh man, the general is one thing is the amount of times. What do I see you do outside of practicing with me? I mean, the recreational players, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we do, we see with the recreational players, we just see if you're going to be practicing once a week, twice a week, that's all they're at, and that's fine if you want to be right. Also, you just kind of see you don't see a lot of engagement sometimes from the kids. Like when they're there, they're there to really just have fun, make friends, and just be part of the team, and that's completely fine if that's what your goal is. Now we're looking at the competitive players. These are the players that are wanting to stay after practice, want to come early. They want to go to every open gym. They want to lift weights. They want to do extra stuff. They want to go 4, 5, 10, sometimes 6, 7 days a week where you have to reel them in and say your body has to rest. They really want it. They really, really want it. Again, nothing wrong with the recreational player, nothing wrong with that's the difference is the amount of time they're putting on and off of the field or court to get themselves prepared for a game or season or just to play ball,
Uh-huh. So what kind of activities do you see your competitive players doing in their downtime?
Oh man, so I have Amis in my house. I mean, I just use it as a prime example. Typically, as a coach of a good athlete, there's a couple things that go left or right with that. Like some kids cannot play for their dad. My daughter is a prime example. She loves me. She plays for Coach Jen in basketball. She understands, she can't play. But Ami actually does, listen there. One thing I've noticed with him is he watches the game. He plays basketball. If I catch him, he studies it. He's on YouTube watching, maybe old school tapes of Michael Jordan, old school tapes of people that he likes to see. Like the other day, he's watching like a Tim Hardaway. He was studying the killer crossover. As a point guard, he wants to add that to his game. So he's doing that without me telling him. Those are the competitive athletes. They're running hills. They're running around the track. They're doing stuff that is beyond the norm. The norm. And if it's 2 weeks that are offer training, 2 days offer training, he wants to do 5 or 6. And so it's just doing those extra things automatically. You're seeing it without asking is what I see from those athletes.
Okay, so are you seeing him? So he's doing the extra work. So in his downtime, would you say that if there's a rim available, he's getting up shots and things like that?
Oh yeah. So this kid pretty much saved up his money, from grandma and whatever his money to buy his own rim. And so in between it, one thing is funny right now with we're in Omaha public schools, and right now we're doing all remote learning. In between his gym classes or in between when he gets his break, he's outside on his rim. He's outside shooting. He's outside dribbling. He's doing something that is related to the sport that he wants to do, or he's doing push-ups in his room, and that's to me, if I'm looking outside, looking in, if I'm a coach, a high school coach or, middle school coach, I'm looking at him like, okay, here's a kid that didn't take a break. You know what I'm saying? This is a kid that wants to be in our top team.
So I ask you this, and you're going to know where I'm going with this. Is it work for him? Does he consider it work?
No, this is what I've talked to about with my competitive athletes. This is life. This is life. This is it. It's kind of like what I do as a trainer is this isn't work for me. I don't clock in. I don't, it doesn't work. It's what I do. And it's just what he wants to do. He wants to play at a high school collegiate level. And so he wants to be there. And I had this conversation with Ethan. He's another one of our athletes. He's a high school athlete. He's another one that's like, hey, even on these other days, how can I challenge myself? What else can I do? And I'll give him suggestions. Hey, can I do more push-ups? Can I do this and this? Yes. Hey, the next time we get together, can you cover me in basketball so you can push me even harder? And I'm like, that's a competitive nature. That's a mindset that I want to get better.
Okay. So, and this is going to sound like a strange question, but for the parents that are a little bit leery of all this, what's Ami's favorite video game?
It's 2K. It's NBA 2K.
So what I'm saying is this: these kids still do normal kid stuff, but part of their play, because our background is working with kids and working and doing childhood development stuff. Their play is actually what an adult would consider work. So for them, it's fun to go out there and push themselves to get better on the basketball court. It's built in. It's not a chore for them, and nobody has to force them to do it, is what we're saying.
Right.
So if we're talking about what we're seeing as a difference between that athlete, that young athlete that's in a competitive track versus the athlete that's in a recreational track, the off the court work, and it's not just basketball. It depends on what sport they're in, but the off the court or off the field work that you use to develop is fun for them. And even the stuff they don't like, they say, well, this is what I got to do to get better. So they're driven, and it's not a parent standing over them and forcing them to do it all the time. They're actively seeking those opportunities out themselves. And Coach Moe, would you say that those are some simple things that a parent can do to kind of identify whether their kid is on that competitive track, if the kid is actually seeking out opportunities to get better on their own? Would you say that that's kind of what we're seeing as the common theme?
Oh yeah, it's definitely, these kids are. I mean, let's face it. Bryon, you have kids, so do I. They know how to use social media, or just they know how to get on the internet. They know how to do it just as good, if not better, than us. So these kids are looking at us on Instagram, looking at videos, looking at Twitter, and they're seeing that, hey, here's somebody that's training and something I want to do. I'm going to reach out and talk to parents because I want to get with that person. So these kids that want to get better are reaching out to us because they found us. They found us, or they found a way. They want that competitive edge. One thing we do, like, and it's funny because you bring that up. We pretty much, I started a kind of a rewards program for those kids, and you follow me on this. So I don't know if people have seen. If you go on our website, if you go on our page, you'll see #bouncy shirts. And those are not just, you can just go buy. We have plenty of shirts you can just buy, and support us. It's fine. But those kids have earned those shirts. And what that was these are the kids that were coming in, working on their vertical work. We're doing stuff all the time. And all of a sudden, this kid, could jump a little higher. This kid is a little bit more bouncy on his feet because they were doing extra stuff with us. And so the reward was, once me and the other coaches, or me and Bryon, talked, like, hey, let's get this kid a shirt, because the reward is they are going above and beyond, and they're competitive. The kid wants to get better. They pride themselves on that, and that's been a huge thing. And some of our early on kids have earned a shirt. So that, we have Chucky, we have Will, Greg, and those guys, they're playing at a high school level. And even they enjoy those shirts, because it's like, hey, there was a time that I can jump a little bit, but my own hard work and my guide and the guys with Coach Moe are, and just following through and being doing it got me a little bit higher, And as we know, me and you have talked about this before, the difference between gaining 1 inch on your vertical and not gaining 1 inch is a difference between a possible college scholarship offer, a possible college look, or a possible varsity starting spot. I mean, so that thing does make a difference.
So I'll ask you this, because to tie back to that point, I know that for the older heads, because, we watched a lot of sports growing up and stuff like that and things like that. Do you guys remember that dude, was it like Todd Maravich, the bionic quarterback or whatnot?
Yeah.
Where they're making a big deal about how he never did normal kid stuff and things like that. We're saying that that's not the way. If the kid isn't invested, the parent can't make the kid want to be invested. And you saw what happened with him, where, he got pushed all the way up to the pros and then imploded. Like it didn't work because it wasn't a him thing. It was kind of his dad thing. And so when we're online, we see, as people that work in this space and as people that are running a business in this space, we see the parents that are more invested than the kids, where they're forcing the 8-year-old to go out and, do ladder drills, and the 8-year-old clearly doesn't want to do ladder drills in his free time. That's not how you make that kid want to be a competitive athlete. That's how you turn them off of the sport.
Well, I think you hit right there, Bryan. Is this your recreational kid wants to have fun right off. He's not at this time. He's mentally not. He doesn't want to be there to be faster than his friend next to him. He doesn't want to outperform right now. He's just happy that him and his friend are getting to play basketball on the same team. Right now, and so we have had, even in our experience, we will tell you as coaches, we're not perfect. We're not perfect with things there. But I tell you, the one thing we've done is be honest. And so we've had a lot of honest conversations with parents where we're like, you might have a kid that, that just kind of gets it in the team, and you're like, cool, I'll do anything. But then we have the kid that kind of like, I'm really, really getting forced to be here, And so we've been very honest with parents. They're like, hey, I really don't know if this kid really wants to be here, And it's not even us. Sometimes the kids will even tell it. We've had it. You've had it too, where they're like, I really just want to play video games. I really want to play video games. And so that kid, that's a recreational player. He might like basketball. So let me clear that up. He might like basketball, but does he have dreams of playing in a state championship game in high school? Probably not. And so we're not gonna sit here and sugarcoat this kid and tell him that he's gonna be the next state champion if he doesn't want to be there. And I think that's one thing that's helped us is just be honest with those kids. Those are rec players.
And the thing is, we've also seen the switch flip, where we've had a kid that was on a recreational track and got in and started doing some work with competitive kids, and then the fire was lit within them. So it happens, but we're saying it has to be the kid's decision. You can't force it. And here's the other point. We've seen kids that are supremely talented. We've seen kids that would be college bound if they just took it seriously, but they don't love it that much. They have all the talent in the world, but they don't love it they don't love it like that. And
you hit it. You hit it 100%. Like, it happens a lot, and I think to piggyback off of that, Bryan, is, I mean, just because, and parents gotta see it, just because your dad played, just because mom played, just because grandpa played, does not mean that that's going to translate over to the kid. And so I've had that conversation probably more than a few times with, well, Dad's 6'8", and Dad was a college player, and it's like, I understand that. That's a great thing, but maybe this kid doesn't like basketball, you know? Maybe he likes something else. And that conversation is tough a lot of time. And I think as parents, because I'm a parent of an athlete, I even have to, reel myself in. We got to understand all of our kids are different. Maybe they're not like us, and maybe they're not like Uncle so-and-so who played in the NBA. Maybe they just want to have fun. And again, like you said, and maybe that switch hits. I'm a kid who, had every athletic ability in the world in high school. You put me on a court to run an offense or on the field to do something like that, I'm freezing. I'm freezing because I didn't have any confidence. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have it there. And so I probably looked like, at first, I was a recreational player. I was a recreational player because I didn't really love it. I knew I was fast. I didn't really love football at first. I knew I could catch a ball, and the switch hit for me when I got to college because I kind of love this position, or I love doing this different in high school, and I'm actually on my own to try something new, and boom, all of a sudden, the recreational scared mindset turned into competitive. Like you said, it can happen either way.
Yep. And we're saying that talent isn't the predictor. We've seen kids that on paper aren't considered talented, who are some of the hardest competitors in the city. We've seen kids that have all the measurables and they have all the pedigrees and even all the on-court talent, but they don't have the drive to get better. So they just kind of sit where they are. And the kids that are on paper untalented end up surpassing them because they end up developing the skills and getting their skills better. So that's what we're talking about. It has less to do with talent and more to do with how bad does this kid want it? Do they want to do it? Because it's not enough for a parent to want it for the kid. And that goes for a lot of different things, but specifically with the kids we're talking about, it's not enough for mom or dad or uncle or cousin or grandma or grandpa to want it for that kid. That kid has to want it for themselves.
Well, and my question back to Bryan is back to the parents. Let's keep it real. This one we're adults, right? Let's keep it real. With the parents, it's like, don't you want your kid involved with a training or a team where the real is going to be taught, where somebody's going to tell you, hey, this ain't it. I think I have prided myself as a business owner that you can tell through reviews or Google reviews and things like that too, that to be honest, and that a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people do like it. And so in this field, sometimes you're not going to have, some parents are going to not like you, right? And we didn't get into this business to have every parent agree with us, correct? But we also have gotten this business to keep it real and make it about the kids first. And so we've had it where we've had kids that we've tried, we looked, we saw, we evaluated, we talked to the parent, we put them in games, we put them in training, and the kid still will come up to us after practice or the body language and they just say, I just really want to play games. I just don't really want to do a practice. I don't really want to do anything extra. I really want to do it. And that conversation is tough, especially as a parent that's that might have been a former college athlete. I'm a former college athlete, and that would be a tough conversation if my kids just decided I don't want to play anymore, Mm-hmm. But I would love if somebody kept it real with me and said, hey, the kid does actually like basketball, but they just want to do this rec. They want to be on the rec team, And for me as a parent, yep, I might be initially shocked, but it might save me money eventually, and it might save my relationship with my kid if I listen to that and realize it's okay to be a rec player.
Yep.
And competitive player as well. There's nothing wrong with being either.
And here's the thing. We talk about relationships, because I do want to pick up on that thread. Not only can it save your relationship with the kid, it can save the relationship with the coach, but it also saves the kid's relationship with his or her teammates. if that kid recognizes, hey, this isn't for me, because we've had kids that are supremely driven, and for them, the fun part is going out and competing on the highest level possible. And if you have a teammate that's not all in with you, and it's not ability, we're not talking about ability. If we have a teammate that's not all in, those relationships turn sour really fast, because those kids that want it end up getting frustrated by the kids that don't. And when they're on the same team and you're in the heat of the game, this kid that doesn't want it, it could turn into a situation where the other kids are feeling anchored down or whatnot, and it can turn really bad really fast, is what we're saying. So,
oh yeah, definitely
recognize that within your kid and have these honest conversations with them, because from a professional standpoint, it makes it easier for coach to have these honest conversations with the kids if the parents are having honest conversations with the kids as well, and checking in and saying, hey, how are you feeling this season? Do you want to do this? I know specifically, we'll talk about what's going on internally. Specifically, I know, when we talk about Ami, you've had to have that conversation, because Ami's a great soccer player too, but you've had to have that conversation with him and check in with him and see what he wants for him. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that was tough. That was a tough situation. He's very talented in soccer. I mean, he was a kid that definitely was college bound in that. And so, due to a circumstance with a coach, and there were some promises made that weren't kept. He just,
Okay, so we're back. So we cut off just when you started talking about soccer and what happened.
Yep. And so the soccer, soccer was a big thing. It was he was good. He was slated to play, he's slated on his path to college, and he was told that during a lot of evaluations. And so he just didn't want to do it. It rubbed him the wrong way. Now, like you said earlier, will he go back to it? He might, he might. But right now, as a parent, all I have to do is I have to be supportive, and just, if basketball is his thing, I give him all the tools he needs to be successful in basketball. And if he taps you on the shoulder one day and says, I want to get back on the soccer field as well, then but it's a tough thing. But that's the thing. It had, like you said several times, and we're gonna keep reiterating this. It has to come from the kid, because the other thing is going to be, if you force them into something, they're gonna quit. they're gonna quit, and they're gonna resent playing, and it happens almost every single time when they're forced.
Yep, and they may not quit in college, or they may not quit before college. They may make it all the way to college. They may make it all the way to that top level, and realize that they're there, but they don't really want it. They've been pushed to it, and if for the ones that make it all the way to the highest level, it gives them some of the resources and stuff to be able to make those kind of decisions. But the thing you don't want to do is demotivate your kid by wanting it more than they do. And I think that's the common thread that we're seeing. A lot of parents are living their dreams through their kids, and we all do it. Parents all do it, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, you can't want it more than them. And when we're saying the signs that you may want it more than them are pretty apparent for us, but parents might not see it. So from my experience, and I'll throw out a couple, and then Coach Moe, you can throw out a couple. From my experience and what I'm seeing and observing, the parents that want it more than their kids, one behavior that we see a lot is essentially you have a parent that's heckling their own kid from the crowd.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a parent that kind of wants it more than their kid, where they know their kid is not putting in the full effort, and it's not motivation that's coming from the crowd. It's almost, it's heckling. I mean, that's let's be blunt here. They're heckling their kid from the crowd.
Right.
That's kind of a sign that they don't want it more. That the kid doesn't want as much as the parents. Another sign we see is where the kid shows up unprepared for training or practice. Yep. Can you expand on that one a little bit, Coach Moe? What do you see with that?
Well, I mean, if you're a hooper, I mean, at some point, bring your basketball shoes. You know what I'm saying? Bring your basketball shoes. Bring a basketball. Bring a water bottle. Have a bag. Like I get. I mean, look, my youngest is 6 years old, and for soccer, we just got on Amazon and got him a soccer bag and puts his ball in it, and he has his stuff ready for soccer. Well, I'm expecting a 14 or 15-year-old, if you're playing, if he's serious or she's serious about playing, why do you not have that stuff with you? Mm-hmm. Be prepared to play. Get sleep. Eat before you come to training. Like I said, bring water. Those are simple things. And if you don't have that stuff, and you've seen it, Bryon, I have, it's a pattern. Mm-hmm. And it's the same kid, same attitude, over. And it's like a kid that wants to get to that next level is not forgetting his basketball shoes for basketball practice every week. They're not forgetting their basketball. They're not forgetting their basketball short. They're not forgetting that stuff, and that's when you kind of feel like, all right, this may not be something that they want to do. They may be getting pushed into it. And it's okay to have your kids. And we're not knocking the parents for getting your kids involved in extracurricular activities and, to keep them in shape or keep them active. We're saying and you go back to it, if you're going to be on a select team or a really competitive team and you have 9 other kids bringing their stuff and always prepared, and your kid is a 10th kid and they're not, I'd hope that'd be a telling sign for the parent.
Yep. And we're saying, we do want to, we got to keep reiterating this. We're not saying that you shouldn't have an expectation that your kid participates in some kind of physical activity. We're not saying that you shouldn't have expectation that your kid plays a team sport, because that's important for their development. We are saying this. That's what recreational leagues are for. For the kid who goes to practice, they get conditioning, they get to work out and get to run and play with their friends. That's fine. We're talking about forcing a kid who has a recreational mindset into a competitive team, because one thing before this pandemic rolled around, we were planning and we were putting the pieces together to get into some open runs for a AAU, to start an AAU program. And we're still doing that. We're still going to get to that. But the pandemic dropped right when we would have been really ratcheting up, looking to get into that stuff. And there's nothing that will demotivate a child faster who isn't competitive, who is not on the competitive track. There's nothing more demotivating than to drop him or her into where some of the best young talent in the country plays and let them get embarrassed in front of everybody. And
a 50 point loss.
Yeah.
3 games in a row is a pretty big wake up call. And I have continually, and I coach high school too as well. And as well as AAU team, I've coached some of the top players, in the country and in the state. And they'll tell you, we've beat teams like that, or we'll be in divisions where we see a team, we're like, like you said, what not a great feeling to go into that. And then how do you recover from that? How do you recover from that? And then when is it considered too late?
Yep. Pushing the kid too far too fast, and it cuts across all areas. If you're a parent that has children in dance, if you push them too far too fast into the competitive dance world, you could end up killing their joy and not fun, and then it turns into a battle. If your kid is excels at spelling bees and you push them too far too fast, they may not want to compete. So when you see these young people out here excelling and doing what they're doing, understand that in a lot of cases, this is some self-motivation stuff. And either your kid wants it or they don't. Now, we're not saying that they can never get that spark within them on their own, but you're not going to make them have it, is what I'm saying. And we keep seeing it time and time again. And we see a lot of parents that throw away a lot of money, chasing that, trying to find that spark. And it could be as simple as taking your kid out, getting them out to play some open court games against some top competition and letting them see if they have that fire within them themselves.
It's simple. And then I challenge the parents. This is no protection of coaches. There's great coaches. We know some great coaches. And there are some coaches that probably need a little help and maybe need to not coach, and maybe just be a consultant or something. That's fine. But if you do take that kid, like you said, to an open run and and that happened for him, a lot of times it's not the coach's fault. It's not the coach's fault. If the coach suggested you did that, they're actually trying to help you. They're trying to help you. And some kids are, and let's keep it real, some kids just have it. Yep. And you remember growing up, all of us, you had that kid that was in class that could go out on the playground and he was the fastest kid no matter what. He could just run or she could just run faster than everybody. You had that kid that could jump higher than everybody. And it was genetics. It was just who they were. And it was that 1%, that 1% kid. But as we also know is kids develop different. They change and things will happen. And maybe that kid will slow down. Maybe that kid will stop playing. But as a parent, we have to realize is maybe there are some very, very good kids out there. And if you keep yourself in kind of a small bubble in a sense, and you're like, and we get this all the time. You've heard this to me. You know how I get on this. I have a coach that says, on my team, I have the best 7th grader in the state. And me and you always look at each other, and then we laugh about that because, my question back to that coach is, it's interesting. Have you ever been to Valentine, Nebraska? Well, no. Yeah. Well, I mean, do you know if there's a player out there in 7th grade that's not better than your kid? Well, I don't know.
Yep.
Well, that's you got to stop telling the kids that, because what if they do run into that player who is doing things that your kid's not doing, which is fine, and they end up, like you said, getting into a game with those kids, and it's a 50-point loss,
Right.
And so
right.
and so now you've just set this kid up to set this kid up to not be prepared for this, And so it's kind of like, as a parent, take them to the park, let them play somebody, put them in a league, put them up a couple of divisions high to see. And it's not the coach's fault all the time. It's just there are some really good kids. And so now, to me, you talk about rec and competitive. Now you look at your kid and say, do you want to be there with that competitive team that beats you by that much? Do you want to be better than those kids? Are you okay? Are you okay? Just kind of like, let's step back down another division. I just want to have fun. And that's okay too. But you got to make that decision with your kid and yourself.
Exactly. And, here's the thing. I talked about, you mentioned open gyms. I mentioned open gyms. When are you guys, because I know one of the things that you do is with a lot of your talent in the high school level kids and, junior high level and whatever, you have open gyms around the city pretty consistently. And so, what I guess the question is, what benefit do you see for these kids attending these open gyms to play against other talent?
Well, I love it. I mean, like most open gyms consist of it's a mix, and so we'll have some of the top middle school kids here. And what I mean by top is, let me clarify top. That I know of in Omaha. How about that? Yep. So I don't have those people like, you just said Valentine. No, that I know of in Omaha that I've consistently seen play that make pretty good waves here. And so I'll have about 3 of those guys, 3, 4, 5. A lot of, we have our own team, our Academy All-Stars, our 8th grade team. That's our top team. So you got, guys like, Ami and Ben and those guys, and Mikey, those guys that come in there, and Jay and Chris, Kelvin. We'll kind of intermix them some weeks as well. But then you look at your high school guys. You got kids that are playing JV, varsity, that are pretty good. They're looking to get on that varsity level, are already on varsity. And then we throw college guys in there along with parents that played. So all the teams are pretty balanced. And we're just I'm looking for who's going to work through it. If I switch up team, I might put a team full of guards that are under 6 feet, and I match them at the first thing with all guys that are over 6 feet and they're all forwards. Who's going to work through it? You know what I'm saying? Are the forwards going to figure a way to get the ball up the court and work the ball around? Are the guards going to stop worrying about how, they're not tall enough to get rebounds and actually go and get positioned to get those rebounds and fight and scramble? And that's what I'm looking at. How do you give yourself an edge? Play with better people. You know what I'm saying? How you consistently play with better people, consistently play with people that want to get better and do the right thing. And so we use those to evaluate. And here's a good thing, Bryon. Right after those games, I talk to all the kids. In between them, I talk to them all. And I'm like, hey, I like what I've seen from you, and you here. One thing I was talking to Big Kelvin on our team the other day. I think he was a kid that's pretty emotional about stuff when he makes mistakes. He took the feedback for the first time, I think in a long time, and adjusted. He's like, you know what? I was leaving the back door uncovered. I was getting beat on the backside. The backside, and he got thing. But we're able to do that right then and there, and so those kids are able to walk out there not only with a sense of I'm getting better, I know better, but now. This is what you talked about at the beginning. Here's the confidence piece. And now I have to see, now I'm confident, I'm better. Am I a competitive player? I think I am now. Player I want to be. Or did I leave that? And we've had it. We've had kids come that thought it was something else and they got there. And, man, after 1 or 2 games, they're like, this is a lot. This game is too fast. I don't even, wow. This is good. And they broke down. And that, and that was good for those kids. The parents are like, you know what? Now I kind of know he needs to either work towards getting better or this may not be it. And so we use that to do a lot of different things, and it's been very successful. And, it's something that, hey, you want to get involved, again, contact us, look out for it, throw some names out there, and we'll invite you, and we'll see how we'll see what the kid does.
And that was the point I was getting to. It's our open gym invitational, and how when do we have them? And Coach Moe, typically when do you have them? When can people expect them to come out?
They come, they can come out on Mondays. It's invite only. So it's Mondays from 5 to 7. So it's invite only. The reason I say invite only is we get a lot of requests. Man, you guys know me. I've been in the basketball game a long time, years. And so people just kind of know you. They want to get, they want to get involved. They want to see what we're doing. But we want an opportunity for every kid to get in there. We try to cap it. We don't want 75 kids in the gym. Number one,
right.
That elephant in the room is the pandemic. So we're keeping our kids safe. So number 2 is I want to see different talent every week.
Yep.
And I think another coach, if you want to, test your kid, it's easy to get comfortable. It's really easy to get comfortable as a coach and as a parent, you know, where you're like, my kid's beating everybody and there's no challenge, you know?
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so let's challenge, because I'm going to tell you, you know me as well, the kids that are getting heavily recruited in this area or getting scholarship offers are not playing the third or fourth team of an organization every week.
Right.
They are playing the best of the best in the top, and the recruiters know that. And if you're able to give me 10 points, 12 rebounds, 5 steals, that's you're like, you're a pretty good all-around player, you know? And you're doing that against a top team every week. Okay, I want you at my college, you know? And that's our goal.
And so with this open gym invite, reach out to Coach Moe on Facebook, shoot him a message if you want to come out, and if you have a young man or young lady that you want to come out and get some competition, Monday evenings. But you got to reach out to Coach Moe so we can tell you the location and where to be. And you never know who might be there. You know, we know a lot of different coaches in the city, and so you might see some of the top some of the coaches from some of the more renowned programs around the city, and you might see some from programs that you haven't heard of yet. But you never know who's going to be in the building and watching, and it's a good opportunity to come out and get some run. And so, and it also it can be the thing that separates and shows you if this rec player is ready for a competitive track, and that's really what the intent of it is, to see who's ready. And we've added players to our team through utilizing open. We found some fantastic talent by utilizing open gyms and seeing which kids had the switch to flip. And so we encourage you, reach out to Coach Moe on Facebook and shoot him a message, and you know, might answer some preliminary questions, and you know, we'll shoot you an invite if everything lines up. So to wrap it up, Coach Moe, moving forward, if you're a parent that has that kid and you don't quite know whether they're on a competitive track or a recreational track, what are some questions that a parent needs to ask? Parent needs to watch for. So questions they need to ask and some to watch for.
First thing you got to watch for is start watching your kid. See what they do. And I'm a visual person. I've been doing this a long time. You go to a park. Let's say, for instance, there's a couple schools around here that have multiple basketball rims, right? You go to the park, and every time that kid goes to the park, does that kid want to sit in the car? Or does that kid get out and take a basketball and go right to the court? You know, every single time. Little things like that. It's like, okay, they do have an interest. So you get an initial interest off of how they react outside of an organized practice. They bring their ball to the court. You know, then it's like, maybe I go out a few times and they find somebody to play with. Then the next time they come out and they're playing somebody they're playing against. And then it's 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and the kid's engaged and they're ready to play. So you have to kind of watch that beginning there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, does that kid really want to do it? And I've talked to guys, and we have guys that's in our circle that have played in the NBA, guys played overseas, and their own kid, they're like, hey, my kid needs time. Like, the kid, you know, he's not me. You know, the circumstances are different, and when we take that kid to the park, he's having fun. Mm-hmm. You know, he's having fun. He doesn't really want to play ball, and so that's where you kind of say, let's hold on to that kid, because he may be athletic, he may eventually come back, but maybe, you know, he starts off a rec. But watch the kid. They've watched their kid's development. Also, the questions you want to ask a coach is, can you give me an honest evaluation? We're honest. When people call us, they're like, hey, my kid's this and this, and they send us videos, and that's great. We love that. You know, we love that. But we also say, I want to see this kid for myself, because here's the deal. I want to talk to that kid. And I want to see, you know, I want to evaluate. We'll go through this. I want to talk to that kid, because the kid may be awesome. But again, the kid may say, Hey man, I really just like to play on Friday nights,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a way to get out of the house. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's a good thing to have talk to the kid. So, kid, ask your kid what they want to do. Ask a coach to evaluate your player, and just watch their body language when they're actually playing the game. That's the big thing. Are they frustrated to play? Are they, is it being forced to play on them, or are they look like they are something they want to do? And we've had it. I've called parents. I'm kind of like, I would love for your kid to continue on with us, but it just doesn't seem like the basketball's not their thing. And it's nothing that we're doing wrong or the kid's doing wrong. The kid never intentionally wanted to play basketball, and that's one of those harsh realities you gotta tell the parents right off.
Right. And so those are some of the things we can check out for. You can look out for as a parent. To wrap it up, just throw our plug in here. Coach Moe is one of the only certified speed and agility development coaches in the region. And Coach Moe Athletics has some services that really speak to the total athlete, and that's our total athlete program. We've had success with athletes across all spectrums of sports, male, female. We've had volleyball players, we've had football players, we've had basketball players, we've had soccer players in our system, we've had baseball players. It's really designed to enhance the speed and agility and movement of athletes across all spectrums. So that's our total athlete training. And we also have our basketball academy program, which is all the speed and agility stuff we normally do, but it's really focused from a basketball development standpoint. And the basketball academy allows kids to play. Either they can play on our team or they can stick with their own team. We're not asking for any commitments on that end. The only thing we're asking you to commit to is becoming a better athlete. And it focuses on developing basketball awareness on the court, working on being a good teammate, and working on the fundamentals of the game. And so those are the programs we have running. We also have our coming up we spoke about it earlier, our tryout prep for basketball players. And it's really a lot of conditioning work to get basketball players specifically ready for the season. Now, if you're a player, if you play other sports, this conditioning can benefit you too. But, this is really, really designed to help prep basketball players and get them all the conditioning and speed and agility work so that when they go into trials, they can crush it. And so that's what we have running here. Shout out to Legends Soccer Club. We've been doing some work with them. Great partnership. They're doing some fantastic work from a soccer development standpoint with kids. And so we want to give them a quick shout out. Any other programs we want to shout out, Coach Moe?
Bryon, shout yourself out, man. I sell words, shout yourself out. You do a great job. So anytime you guys are looking at these ads, these are, I get feedback all the time, Bryon, is telling you man, it was easy to follow. I was able to find you guys. I like that lead page. I like your website there, shout yourself out. Shout yourself out. You're doing a good work. Yeah, you're doing good work. Bryan's a humble guy. Bryan's a very humble guy, but I couldn't do this, and a lot of businesses that work with him couldn't do this without the service that you provide either. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I appreciate that, man. I Sell Words, we're kind of pivoting more into content creation. So it falls into the realm of doing podcasts and YouTube content and things like that. So that's kind of where we're going with it. You're probably going to be seeing more stuff from my Bryon Sells Words podcast, where we talk about marketing stuff for small businesses. And so you're going to be hearing more and more about that in upcoming weeks. And I'm also working hard on creating some digital products so that small business owners can have a resource that they can go in, and if they want to learn how to make a quick landing page that is effective, they can do it, with a couple of clicks of a button. They can watch it on their own time. So that's what we got coming up for I Sell Words. But if there's any businesses out there that are in our circle that are interested in being guests on the show, because we want guests on the program coming up, specifically in the sporting world. If you want to come on and discuss development or anything regarding your sport, shoot Coach Moe a message on Facebook. It's Coach Moe Athletics, and we'll sit down and have a talk. And if there are any businesses that are looking for partnership opportunities, shoot us a message. It's at coachmoathletics@gmail.com. So those are the places you can reach us. We'll be back at you guys next week with another topic. If you guys have any questions or feedback, shoot us an email, leave us a Facebook message, let us know. If we've helped you guys out, if we've helped your kid out, go leave a comment and let us know. Hey, give us a shout. If you want us to do future work with you, give us a shout and we'll get in touch with you. Anything else, Coach Moe?
No, I think that's just a big thing, man. Like we've worked with a lot of kids. We're very, very humbled by the shout outs that we've gotten. We're very humbled by our kids. We're proud of our kids that are getting offers, not only for just their, the athletic ability, but to combine it with academic scholarships, as well. And we're turning out a lot. I feel we do it the right way. We do it the right way. I look at us as we're trendsetters, which is good, but we're trendsetters are open to help other coaches. We're open to help other businesses. We support, like you said, we support them as well. Big shout out to Brandon Clark at the Sign Doctor for, really helping us with a lot of the shirts that you see. And then our originators, Rachel at Anytime Tees, that has continued to help us and actually help do a kind of a fundraiser drive for our business, which is awesome. We didn't even ask her to do that during this time, and so that's the thing when we're willing to help others as well. And so that's always been our thing. It's kids first, and if we can help the kids get better, like I said, even a little edge of speed or a little height on their jump, a little bit of confidence in their game, we've done our job.
So this is what we're going to do, because helping kids, I do want to throw out a plug there. We are still looking to take on sponsorship opportunities for our basketball teams. Season's coming up, and we want to be able to hit the ground running. So if you're looking to sponsor our basketball team, get in contact with us. I'll put the link in the show notes. All the other businesses we've shouted out, we'll put links to their pages in the show notes as well, so that you can reach out to them and show them some love. And that's what we got. Next week, we'll be back at you with another topic. I think we can kind of go into what you could be doing at home to help your kid stay in shape. If you don't have the ability to pay, we'll throw out some tips and some things that, we can, from Coach Moe's experience, he can, give you some tips and stuff to keep your kids active while distanced. So that's what I got. Anything else, Coach Moe? Oh, real quick, Coach Moe, what's the social media they can find you on?
Man, I'm a big Instagram guy. So it's Coach Moe Athletics LLC. It's on there. Also, our Twitter handle is Coach Moe 2015 is when we actually got our first LLC. So that's what that 2015 is. And then on Facebook, Coach Moe Athletics LLC, Coach Moe Athletics Basketball Academy, as well as another page. But if you're young kids, you love Twitter, you love Instagram, well, you'll find me on there. Parents, we're on those other things as well. And then if you contact us, we pick up, we get right back to you. And we answer our calls, and we're ready. We'll get you into any service you need to get your kid into.
All right. So that's where to find us. The website's coachmoathletics.com. And so that is where you can find our website. And thanks for tuning in. We will be back at you guys next week. Talk to you later.
All right. Catch you guys later.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.